6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
What we do here is go back.
Hello, everybody. We are back. It is Steven Jensen and Jessi Davin. We are going to be doing WWE Money in the Bank predictions, and those are going to be brought to you by WrestleRumble.com. I'm going to tell you all about WrestleRumble.com right after we find out how are you doing today, Jessi?
I'm doing good. It's so funny, right? As we were getting ready to go live, my husband's playing music on shuffle, and Triple H's The Game came on. I'm like, yes, doing good today. It's a beautiful day. Excited for tomorrow, so I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Excited for tomorrow also. Interested to see what goes on tonight because for those of you who don't know, I cover the shows, like doing like live tweets for MMA On Point during the UFC shows, and there's a UFC event scheduled for tonight, and one of their fighters tested positive for coronavirus last night, him and two of his cornermen. So 3 people at that event have tested positive, and they are staying in the same hotel. Reportedly, they're staying in the same hotel as the AEW stars, which is a bit concerning. So as of right now, the UFC show is still happening tonight. So I'm looking forward to seeing some fights, but I would not be surprised if I heard something in the next few hours about, this show not happening. I don't know, but
I hope
aside
not.
of that, everything else is good.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be really interesting. I obviously, they had that weigh in, and there was like touching and all sorts of things. So I just really hope that everyone stays healthy and that everyone properly sanitized afterwards. And I really hope everyone at the hotel stays healthy. And I do hope the show goes on, but only if everyone agrees to it and feels safe. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Like this is a good
Oh
action
God.
here. So fight week, you see Jacare. He's wearing. This is the guy who tested positive. He's wearing obviously a mask and gloves, and then you can see him right here, pounding, giving a fist pump to Dana White here in the middle, and then you see Dana White hugging fighters who are then hugging other fighters and stuff. Like,
Germs.
granted, Jacare is wearing gloves, but who knows if he put the gloves on himself? Like, did he touch the outside of the gloves before he bumped Dana White? Like, did someone else put the gloves on for him? Were the gloves like disinfected? I don't know. I don't know. And then there's also pictures of Jacare definitely within 6 feet of a bunch of other fighters, like in like a hotel room, like a lobby or something. From yesterday also. So like, and one of the fighters, Fabricio Verdum, who fights for the UFC as well. So, and is supposed to fight tomorrow. So, or tonight. So it's gonna be yeah, I just gotta kind of keep my eye open, my ears open, my eyes open to see like if anything changes. But as of now, I'm expecting to watch some fights tonight. So and then tomorrow, of course, we have Money in the Bank. So hopefully that goes on as planned, and we're gonna absolutely talk about that a lot today. And this is a good reminder. Anybody in the chat who, if you want to throw your predictions out there while we're going over these matches. If you have any kind of super chats, any match predictions that you want us to like for sure dive deep on, send a super chat. If there's any questions, comments, statements that you want for sure read out loud and talked about on the show, super chat's the best way to do that because we're very grateful that so many people are using the chat. Like it's awesome all the interaction we're getting, but unless it's a super chat, we just can't guarantee we're gonna get to it because we just are gonna while we're talking to each other, we're just gonna naturally miss a lot of what's going on in the chat, but the super chat obviously highlights, and we'll dive deep on that. So, Jess, do you have any kind of like thoughts on any of this stuff? Anything about wrestling or anything that you want to talk about before we talk about Money in the Bank?
Um, no, not really. I think that I guess we can just go into stuff. I mean, there's nothing that I think needs immediate priority. Just because I mean, obviously, Money in the Bank is what we're talking about. Obviously, this UFC, it should be really interesting. Um, so I mean, obviously, we can talk about my background a little bit and what we discovered before we went live. So yeah, I mean, there's some tea to be spilled, I guess, and some good predictions to be had. So I think we can discuss it, but I don't think right at this moment anything is coming to my mind other than my nose itching. So
Okay,
I gotta
cool.
itch my nose. I'm itching my nose.
Um,
No one needs to see that.
Me and Jesse were listening to the audio of the hacker, like slowed down before it was distorted, undistorted, and slowed down before this. Um, I think it sounds kind of like Paige, to be honest. Jesse was saying you think kind of like Sonya.
It sounded like okay, it's definitely a female. If you slow it down, it's a female. Okay, which is interesting because a couple weeks ago it sounded like Xavier Woods. When they slowed it down and undistorted it. But when let me see who on Twitter was that? Did I like it? I hope I didn't lose it. Um, Someone on Twitter had slowed down the audio, and it sounds like a female. It could be Mickey James. Someone said Maurice, but I didn't hear like an accent. It definitely sounded like it could have been like Natalia. Um, Maybe I didn't hear an accent, but that obviously could be Paige covering up her accent. I think it'd be a good way to get Mickey James back on top. Is she still with the company?
I
Is she
think
still with
so.
the company?
I think she's still
Okay.
there.
It sounded like Mandy Rose.
Let's be
It's a
realistic though.
basic.
Like, what would like Mickey? It's not gonna be Mickey James. Like,
It can't be Mickey James.
no, they're not gonna. There's just they're not gonna.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? There's no reason they would put like
Yeah.
a major storyline like that. It just wouldn't make any sense.
No. It would be like Paige would definitely be a twist. I mean, because on WWE Backstage, I don't know who made the prediction, but someone was saying it was CM Punk, and as soon as I think of Backstage, I think of Paige because she's on WWE Backstage. That could have been her like deflecting the attention to someone else. But when you listen to it, I'm telling you, it sounds like a girl. Man, I
It
wish I could
does.
find that.
But we were talking about it before we went live. Like a week or so ago, someone did the same thing with the audio, and it sounded like a guy. It sounded kind of like Xavier Woods in that one. So I think that it's totally possible that WWE has recorded these with like multiple voices to just for these exact reasons. Fans like us like overanalyzing it and like trying to like be like play detective, figure it out, which. Which is smart on their end if that's what they're doing. I think it'd be really smart to just use different voices over and over, and then because you can always use the excuse like if you're a good enough hacker, you can, you know what I mean. I'm not a hacker, but like I can download voice changing software like very easily. Anybody can. So I don't know. That'd be kind of cool though if that was part of the story where like the hacker could use different WWE voice like for like
They
different
hacked
people.
their like voicemails.
That'd be pretty cool.
Oh,
That'd be
that
pretty
would
cool.
be cool.
But I'm still sticking with kind of our initial. What was your initial prediction that I thought was a very good prediction, and I think that that's a good pick. I've been saying Ali since you brought up Ali weeks ago, and
I mean, look at the
I know
look at
the
the
thing, the circle. Yeah,
what else could I mean? Come on, that's his Iron Man thing.
and he hasn't been seen on TV in a while, and like he was getting kind of a push before he disappeared and stuff like that.
Before he got punched in the face by Randy Orton.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. It could be Mustafa Ali. JGZ says that, yes. Or just does he have his first name
Yeah.
back? Is he Mustafa?
No, it's just Ali.
Just Ali.
It's just Ali.
Um,
I don't know.
yeah, I don't think it's CM Punk.
No, it's not. I don't think it's CM Punk. He said he doesn't want to, but I just, I don't know. It's mysterious though, and I really like it. And I like how this person's like trying to expose people in WWE. It's very drama. I like it.
Yeah, I mean it's something. I mean they've been doing it for a while, so like there's at least interest built up. It just has to kind of live up to the hype. Hopefully, like they've been talking about this for months now. This whole hacker thing, and whoever it winds up being, hopefully they're gonna do something with. Because the last time they did something kind of like this, I feel like it was kind of like Bray Wyatt with the Firefly Funhouse, as far as like a long term build up, like for like a re-debut, and they did that tremendously in my opinion up until Goldberg beat him. In that sense, that he
Right.
had to recover, and maybe we'll see a good push for Ali if that's who it is, or I mean. I don't know. It's kind of interesting too because Sammy Callahan
I just
the same gimmick.
Yes, the ICU thing. You know what's interesting? Okay, so I just thought of this. Last year's Money in the Bank. Who was supposed to win before Brock Lesnar just ran on
Oh,
in?
right. Ali was at the top. Yeah.
Ollie was on the top, and he had that briefcase in his hand, and Brock Lesnar's music hit. And you know what happens when a wrestler's music hits? They just freeze. And he got wrecked. Maybe this is his Money in the Bank revenge. I don't know.
I don't know. That actually would make a ton of sense. Like that would be great if they actually, if that was the story, I would be very happy with that.
Yeah, I think that would be a good little plot twist. I don't know. I like the whole mystery thing, I feel like they always ruin it, so it's like to keep the mystery going for a while means they won't ruin it, so I'm okay with it.
Right.
But I feel like before the hacker needs to be revealed or is revealed, there needs to be more like tea spilled. There needs to be more receipts. To quote the cool kids, there needs to be like more exposing done, because like really all he's done, or he or she, all they have done is do the whole Mandy Rose thing with Dolph Ziggler, which is fine because now Otis and Mandy are together, and that's just the best thing ever. But I just feel like there needs to be like another expose, you know?
I feel like they dropped the ball like years back when
The manager.
Corey Graves was getting like those text messages and like
Yes,
and it like
with
it,
this
it
whole sun
exposed,
thing.
huh?
With the whole sun thing. Kurt
Yeah,
Angle,
with the
right?
yeah. And
So
I
good.
thought that I thought they were gonna like go with that where like Graves was gonna be like this like the like the in between like all this like I felt like the same kind of thing was gonna be happening with him where he was just gonna keep getting like this information and nobody knew where it was coming from but like he kept being right about it and then eventually like you'd find out like where the like the rat was like who was giving Corey Graves all this info and I don't know I feel like they could have done a lot with that. The Jason Jordan as Kurt Angle something didn't make any sense, or I shouldn't say it didn't make any. I mean, technically speaking, it could have. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
a story, but like it was. Everyone knows that isn't actually his son. Like
Right.
it's clear. So like, it just didn't work out. But I think
No.
if it was Chad Gable though, like I still think that made a
It would have worked out. That would have been. It was like a twist that didn't need to happen with it being Jason Jordan because everyone was like, "Oh, Chad Gable," but then they wanted to like have a twist. I was like, "Dude, the twist of a secret son is enough. We don't need
yeah.
any more like twists and turns and all that, you know?"
Yeah,
Oh.
I was live in the crowd in Nashville. Like they did the reveal for the Sun in Nashville, so like I was there
Oh.
live, and I remember, like he started like giving like hints on who it was, and like the whole section of like everyone sitting there was like, it's got to be Gable, like it's got to be Gable. This is awesome. Like Chad, like this makes perfect sense. Chad Gable, Chad Gable, and then Jason Jordan came out. And everyone was like, oh, kinda cool, yeah, but. Oh, really? Jason Jordan? Like, why not Chad Gable? Like, why not Chad Gable? But,
Right? It's like,
it just didn't
what?
work out. It's too
I've
bad, though,
never
'cause
heard a more confused crowd.
that's how everyone felt in there. And,
Like a collective what?
yeah. It's sad that, that Jordan, like, is injured. Like, because he had a lot of potential. It's just, the storyline wasn't doing him any favors at all. Like the American Alpha tag team was great. I don't know why they couldn't have just gone with that. Like it worked in NXT, and you don't even need good writing for a team like that. Like
No.
it just speaks for itself in the ring. So like WWE didn't even have to. You don't have to write storylines for them. Just put them in the ring and have good matches, and they would have got over. Like just like they did in NXT. Like they had kind of the ready, Willing, and Gable gimmick with the towel for a little bit, and that was pretty much.
Yes.
It was just good wrestling.
It was like DIY and shit.
The Revival.
Yes, Revival. Like them, just tag teams. We didn't need a gimmick. We're just no flips, just fists. You know, like I'm down with that. Just give me some wrestling.
Yeah, I agree. I want to.
You know-
Sorry.
No. I was just gonna say, Corey in the chat said like Corey Graves revealing it was Big Cass attacking Enzo. What if? Because it feels like Corey Graves always has these like big scoops, like drama scoops. What if he's the hacker and that was Carmella's voice?
That'd be great.
That would be cool. I was just thinking that. So that was just a thought train that I had.
I saw that apparently Graves is like testing out to see if he can like take bumps and stuff again.
Oh, good for him. I hope he gets cleared, and I hope that if he wants to return to the ring that he can. I really do wish the best for him.
Yeah, me too. I think I mean I don't know if that's true or not. I just saw like some news articles about that. But why not? I mean, we've seen obviously Daniel Bryan come back and
Edge.
recently. So I could if Corey Graves can get cleared, because he was somebody that was really being highlighted in NXT when he got had to go out concussed. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, he was in a feud with Sami Zayn at the time, who was like one of, if not, Sami Zayn was on the trajectory of becoming NXT champion.
I see. Yeah.
It was a guy that they were like, he was working against, like at like that upper level. So that'd be really interesting. What I was gonna
That would be.
what I was gonna say earlier, just because I want to like address it now, because I've seen Greg Cherry ask a couple times.
Oh,
What's your thoughts on Brad Shepard being let go from well, I don't know if let go or leaving. I don't know what happened from Pro.
yeah.
I'll say, like, from my own perspective, I've interacted with Brad Shepard like on a very limited basis. I've talked to him a couple times just through Twitter. Very basic, just liked tweets and a couple DMs here and there back when he like broke the XFL news and stuff. I can only speak for myself. He's been, fine to me. Like I personally don't have any issue with him. I understand he's a controversial character in like professional wrestling, journalism and like this whole space and everything. I understand. There are a lot of people don't like him. I'm just saying for myself personally, he's been fine to me, but I do know that him and Jesse have had their differences. So that's all I can really say from my perspective. I don't know how much you want to go into that. Like, I prefer not to really touch it much.
Yeah.
To be fully honest, I understand where the hate comes from within the wrestling community, but like I have no reason to feel that way towards him because he's always been cool to me the little bit I've interacted with him. So that's what I can really say.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'd rather, like, obviously, I think we probably just should address it really quickly, but here's the secret. Like, him being hateful and getting hate is attention, and I really honestly feel like for a lot of people, and I can't speak for him, any publicity is good publicity, and to get that engagement, even in a negative way, is getting engagement and getting clicks and hate views, and while it's seemingly unhealthy, it does give him attention, so I don't really want to draw too much to that. I don't really know what's going on. I kind of like forgot he existed for a little bit, to be honest. But I mean, I honestly and truly in my heart wish the best for him. I feel like in the beginning I was more kind of like silly with it because I thought it was like a gimmick. I thought he wasn't really being serious. And then I was like, oh, he's like, it feels to me like he's being serious. And it's really unhealthy. And I really just do wish the best for him. I really do hope that he can change his mindset and change his attitude towards people, basically, and be a little bit more respectful. I'm not going to hold any hate in my heart for someone like that because I don't know what he's going through in his life to be able to want to be hated that much. I think it's really sad. And I think that he deserves to feel happy, and I feel like he deserves to be respected, but you have to give that respect back. And so I hope that he can see that, and I hope that this is a turning point in his life to get him to a better place. And I'm completely willing to like make amends. I would rather not. I'd rather just have him go away and be done and not talk about it. But if he's willing to change and improve, I do believe that people deserve a second chance. And I do believe that people can improve and change for the better. And I do hope that for him. And I just hope he doesn't really fall off the deep end. I really hope that this doesn't like cause him to break because that's never fun and that's not good. So, yeah, I think I'll just kind of close that chapter right there and just wish him the best and really hope that he can change his mindset and become a better person because I don't care if you've called me names and called me like the names that he's called me. I don't want to see you fall. I don't want to see you like completely break. I don't enjoy that. That's not who I am. So I hope that he gets better and maybe learns some new journalism techniques that would help him improve in the future and not be as disliked and disrespected as much. So, yeah.
All right. So, two very different takes on the matter, but I will say this. I think, and this is just, this is just my opinion. I think if he was someone who was a bit more filtered, if he had somebody like kind of above him, because part of the issue with what he was doing was a lot of what he was reporting was inaccurate. And if he had, because I'll give him his credit, he can write. Like, if he had credible information, And like he's a dedicated writer. He's writing all the time. I see him writing stuff constantly and podcasting and like he wants to be involved. I just think he needs to I mean, somebody needs to make sure that he's putting the right information out there with what he's writing.
He needs an editor.
But right, but I have to also say this: the XFL news that he broke was humongous news at the time, and he was inaccurate with it. So like he has broken stories that are credible. So like I have to give him credit for that, 100%.
He's broken story.
He has.
He's
And,
broken
like
story.
to his credit, I know he'll probably be the first to tell everybody, but like ESPN picked it up, and like there's a lot of people that gave him credit for that story. So like,
he's had a moment.
That's what it is.
He's had a moment, and I hope that if he can improve and be nicer, that he gets moments. But right now, I really think he needs to do some soul searching, and kind of be nice. But I do wish him well. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and hate on him and laugh at him. I mean, I'm not going to give him any attention on Twitter because that's what he wants, and I can't do that because I have him blocked, and that's against Twitter terms of service. Talk about people that you've blocked, so I'm not going to. So I'm not going to give a negative person attention. So yeah, I mean, I wish him well, and I hope that he can find his own Money in the Bank and cash it in and become champion of his soul.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Awkward Unicorn says, Steven, cheers with the coffee. Cheers. I got my same mug. It is clean. I promise you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yours is disappearing because of the screen. But I'm a little Costa Rica Turtles mug.
It's hacking. It's hacking my Gatorade.
Yeah.
I take stimulants so I can't drink coffee. Because then my heart will explode out of my chest.
Yeah, we don't want that. All right, well, we were talking about Money in the Bank, and this is a good time to bring up that if you want a free entry for the WrestleRumble.com Money in the Bank Pick'em contest, I'm going to give one of those away before we go off stream. I'll do it the same way I did it last time. I will put everybody's name who says that they want an entry in the chat. Just make it clear, I want a Wrestle Rumble entry, or I want a Money in the Bank entry. Just say something along those lines. At the end of the episode, I will put everyone's name into the random generator online, and you'll all be able to watch me. It'll just randomly generate a name from that list, and that'll be who wins the entry. If you want to get extra entries into the chat or into the contest to get into the contest. So like Corey just said, I will take one, Steven. So
okay, I'm gonna make a note. I'm gonna open up my notes on my phone and try my best. Whoops.
Perfect. So like Corey's got one, but on top of that, if Corey or anybody else sends a super chat of any amount, you get an additional
bonus
to that. So you'll get you can tell me you want one for free, like Corey just did. You get one. And then you get two for every super chat. So even if like you're Corey, you send us a super chat, you'll get a total of 3 because you'll get 2 for the super chat. So that's a way of increasing your odds of getting the free entry. And
Andrew,
that is, once again, courtesy of WrestleRumble.com. You can jump on their website, and they are doing 1 entry for 10, 3 entries for 20, or 5 entries for $30. And the prize is $1,000 cash for the Money in the Bank Pick'em contest.
Cha-ching.
Boom. And then they've also got $10 entries for their championship tag team championship raffle, which is going to be taking place on May the 10th. So that's coming up tomorrow. So get those in ASAP. Really nice title belts. I don't know if my other camera is set up today or not. I don't think it is. But yeah, the prizes are real. The title belts rule. You were just doing the Ethan Klein. I can't even do it. You nail it.
I look like a real hacker.
Yeah. But
Oh my God.
So Greg Cherry says I'll take an entry.
I'm writing it.
You're
Greg. Is your last
Andrew.
name Brand?
Brand, no.
Don't worry. I don't need your real name right now. I'm just joking.
Andrew
Don't- you don't
Barker Andrew Barker says he's in, and he asks if it's for the USA or both UK. It's for everywhere in the world. It's basically you'll get an email tomorrow morning or afternoon from Wrestle Rumble with the free entry. I basically just text the owner of Wrestle Rumble, and then he puts you on a list to get sent out tomorrow before the show.
Yay! 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 Yay!
All right, we'll keep an eye on that while we're doing these predictions. So we're going to give our full predictions for WWE Money in the Bank right now. If you
Right this second.
If you want to be sure to get your predictions read on air, and this will also be in audio form on my podcast feed later today. So if you want your question, statement, comment, prediction, whatever it is, read for sure, and to make sure that me and Jesse talk about it, once again, good reminder, Super Chat. We will make sure to talk about what you want talked about through Super Chat. And you'll get 2 extra entries for the raffle for the Money in the Bank that we'll be doing at the end of the show. So, any thoughts on Money in the Bank before we do any of these predictions, Jesse?
I think. Okay, here's the thing though. Something I was very upset about on SmackDown last night was the fact they gave a nice little tour of the freaking corporate office before Money in the Bank. What the heck? I wanted to be surprised. I wanted no spoilers, and they basically like spoiled it. They showed that there was like I won't say anything in case no one watched. JGZ, I will get your entry in.
You won the last one, so.
Yes. But anyways, I just thought that was really kind of bummer. They didn't show Vince McMahon's office though, but they mentioned his office. I was like, man, okay, I do want to see that dinosaur bone thing, big dinosaur head come down. I bet they'll do like a fake one, but that would be so cool.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Dinosaur head?
Doesn't he have like a giant dinosaur bone or something in his office?
Oh, probably. Vince, yeah,
Haven't you seen that?
Shit.
Yeah, he's got some weird ass like Jurassic Park looking kind of thing in his office. I've seen it in documentaries. But yeah, so I thought that was silly. I believe only the Money in the Bank match has been taped. So that's like pre-tape. I believe, don't quote me, I believe everything else is live. So I really hope that they keep the Money in the Bank really long, and I feel like they've had enough time to edit it. Kind of like WrestleMania, they've had enough time to edit it, perfect it, make sure it's great. I really do feel like that's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm actually so excited for that. I'm actually so excited for that Money in the Bank ladder match. I really am.
It's going to be interesting. I have
incredibly
mixed feelings about it. Like, I feel like it's going to be really, really good or really, really bad. Like, I just don't know. I don't know which way. But, I don't know. I mean, I have to say, I enjoyed the Boneyard match at WrestleMania. I enjoyed the Firefly Funhouse match, like, for what it was. It wasn't really much of a match, but it was the story they told rewarded the long-time hardcore fans because we all got all the references to what was happening. So they can pull off the cinematic match, and I expect that Money in the Bank ladder match to have a lot of those elements in it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's just start off here at the bottom.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's start at the bottom.
We got the New Day versus Miz and Morrison versus the Forgotten Sons, who when we were talking about this earlier, we both forgotten that they were part of the show. And then the Lucha House Party. So this is a Fatal 4-Way match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Jesse, I'll have you go first on this one. Do you have any prediction for who wins this match and why?
I would be... I feel like I'm going to go with like a big upset and say Lucha House Party wins. Grand Malik is really cool. I thought at Elimination Chamber, I feel like Lucha House Party really kind of cemented themselves as like a lot of fun. There were some really cool spots. I thought they really did a great job at Elimination Chamber. It would be really cool to see them kind of like pull this wild win. I just feel like, do I really want them to win? Not necessarily. They're not like my favorite. Like I love the New Day. I'd be totally happy with them retaining. However, I feel like the tag team division in WWE on both Raw and SmackDown. I feel like Raw's doing a lot better because obviously we love the champions right now. Anyways, but I feel like especially on SmackDown, it's the same matches over and over and over and over. And now with the Usos being, or one of the Usos being injured, obviously they're not in the match. I feel like the tag team division kind of needs a reset. And I feel like Lucha House Party would kind of be like one of those, what the hell? Like, you know, do I want it? No. I'm just trying to be different. I would probably say that New Day retains. But for just a wild, fun pick, I'm just going to go Lucha House Party just so we can get something different in the tag team division.
Interesting. So you can kind of go for the same line of thought for like the Forgotten Sons. Like same line of thinking would be like something different because we haven't. They're new to the quote unquote main roster in general. Didn't do like a whole lot in NXT, or at least most of what they did. I wasn't like paying as close attention to NXT. What I've been doing lately is I watch all the takeovers because those shows have always been incredible. But usually I'll just do like a binge watch of like a handful of episodes before takeover because I can't watch NXT. Like I usually have it on my second TV, but I'm paying attention to Dynamite live. That's got my attention. So I don't know how heavily pushed the Forgotten Sons were before they moved to SmackDown.
They weren't.
They weren't.
They weren't.
Okay. So that answers my question. I don't know. I'm gonna go with the New Day to retain. They've recently won the tag team titles back, but they're also one of those teams that at this point, I feel like the WWE is just kind of like padding their numbers, where it's like, all right, get them because what are they like the 8-time champions now or something like that?
6-time, seven.
I don't know. Either way, it's like they, eventually it'll be like a 10-time or maybe it'll, they can, it's unpredictable. They can either have like a year-long title reign or they'll lose them for a few months and then win them back for a few months and then lose them. I don't know. I'm going to go with the New Day to retain though. That's just my gut feeling, so that's what I'm going to go with.
Cool.
Cool.
Don't disagree.
After that, we got Drew McIntyre defending the WWE Championship against Seth Rollins. I'd prefer if Rollins won this match personally, but I do not see it happening. I feel like they're still in the process of trying to build Drew as like a credible champion and possibly a long-term champion. Obviously, they have plans for him if they have him go over Brock clean at WrestleMania. Rollins, he could really use the win. The gimmick could really use the win with the Monday Night Messiah, but I just don't see them making the switch this quickly after WrestleMania. So I'm going to go with McIntyre retaining. What about you, Jessi?
I'm going to go McIntyre retaining. However, I'm going to go with a DQ finish with Buddy Murphy interference.
That's a good prediction.
I completely agree with you. I feel like this, for the Monday Night Messiah gimmick, I don't feel like a clean win, or a clean loss, I should say, would be beneficial. Especially since they had Buddy Murphy kind of come back and defend Seth Rollins was that like 2 weeks ago? I can't remember. My weeks are all combining into one. They just kind of randomly had him come back, and it was like, okay. I feel like you said, I feel like this Monday Night Messiah gimmick, it would be better if he were to win. However, but there's no crowd, there's no kind of, while Drew, yes, has been champion and he defeated Big Show, in a title defense and all that, he still hasn't been, just to me, it doesn't feel like he's been solidified as a champion solely for the fact that there's been no crowd. So it doesn't feel like it's like it hasn't been, like, it's not like he hasn't had a confirmation yet. Like he hasn't gone and gotten his first communion as
I know what
champion.
you mean, though.
Yeah. He hasn't had it doesn't really, he's champion, but it doesn't feel like, it feels like it's on hold. So I don't feel like it would be fair for him to lose it so quickly, solely for the fact that the fans haven't had time to celebrate in person his championship reign. So I feel like for both Drew and Seth. They both need a win. However, the way to kind of get over that and not make Seth look too bad is to have the Buddy Murphy interference with a DQ. So I would go with that.
It's a good pick. I'd like to see Rollins with more followers soon also.
Yeah, especially since
But-
AOP's out.
Right, exactly. It's similar to like we could talk about this a little bit too, but like obviously AEW they're going with Brody Lee versus John Moxley for the title, and I feel like Brody Lee has to win the title because if he doesn't win the title, there's no reason for Dark Order to follow him because they'd be following a loser, and the entire purpose of the group is a group of losers coming together for the win, like the winner. So like if
Shit, you're right.
title, they have nothing to believe in, and the all the build that they've done for this stable since AEW's existed is for nothing, in my opinion.
Is it a no DQ match?
Huh?
Is it no DQ?
I don't know. I just feel like either way he has to win. Or
Well, they never DQ anyway.
right, yeah, they kind of do their own thing with the rules in AEW, anyways. But I mean, it could be like a DQ finish or something where like neither person wins, but like it's similar to the Rollins thing. Like,
A time limit draw.
yeah, time limit draw. I mean, that would actually probably be the perfect way out, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because they have to keep Brody looking strong. Otherwise, like, because he got all this buzz from signing over from the WWE and like being the leader of the stable that like the company is stuck with. Like when this group started, like everybody
Oh, yeah.
was all over it. And the Young Bucks were even acknowledging that nobody liked it, and like they were joking about it on BTE, and they've stuck with it. They've changed it and tweaked it, and now Brody Lee is in charge of it, and like this is like a year of like build up for like something.
God, it has been a year almost.
Yeah. So if Brody doesn't win, this group basically is all for nothing. And
Yeah.
that's how I feel. I mean, I would like to see a long reign for John Moxley, but I also don't want to see like Moxley's going to be okay either way, but like Brody would be like seriously damaged. If he takes like a clean loss from Brody, I think from Moxley, I think he's damaged, which that would suck because
No. Yep.
Corey,
Yep.
Darby Allin going the draw with Cody. Yeah, that was great.
That was great. Gave him
Darby's-
momentum as well.
Yeah, for sure. Darby's definitely a future AEW champion. I'm very high on Darby Allin.
Me too.
All right, up next on Money in the Bank, we've got Bayley versus Tamina. This is a match I'm not looking forward to at all. The pick's on you, though, Jessi. Who do you think wins? This is for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
I think Bailey retains. Since Tamina won last night, she beat Bailey last night. Usually when that happens, that the same outcome does not happen on the pay-per-view. So I just think that it would be better if Bailey won. Let me look at the... Yeah, I mean, obviously this should be before the Money in the Bank. Or what should it be before? I mean, wait a minute. I don't know. I don't know. Because then they can't do the cash-in.
I don't think I have a feeling they're not going to do a cash in either way.
Same night I don't think so either. It's just gonna lose its magic. I'm just gonna go with Bailey. It's a safe pick. I mean, good for Tamina for getting in that main event spotlight. I mean, good for her. But I just don't see her getting a win at all.
Yeah, me either. I'm going to go with Bailey. I hope the match is all right. I just don't have much interest in it. Tamina's never really given me a reason to to really care about any of her matches.
Right?
She does a couple things, and the things she does aren't really that impressive in my opinion. Like her super kick isn't very good. Just my opinion, and that's like half her moveset is like she has a super kick that doesn't look very impressive. She has a super fly splash because her dad is Jimmy Snuka, and
Yeah.
it doesn't look very impressive either. She does it.
Nah.
Just I'm just not interested. So
No.
I'd say Bailey wins, and I'm with you on that. Up next, we have Strowman defending the WWE Universal Championship against Bray Wyatt. Do you know if it's going to be Bray Wyatt or The Fiend? Is there any distinction?
I don't know. I would assume The Fiend, but also I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know. It seems like they're building up to be Bray Wyatt, doesn't it?
Yeah. Let us know in the chat if there's been any distinction. Because if it's just Bray Wyatt, then I've got to go with Strowman. But if it's The Fiend, I got to go with The Fiend.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the Fiend can't take another loss. Like the Goldberg thing killed the momentum. This is their only way of like trying to resalvage that, and they've got to do that. I think Braun Strowman was clearly just like a last second choice because
Yeah.
it wasn't going to be WrestleMania, and they just were like, well, we got to get the belt off Goldberg because we don't have Goldberg anymore, and now they have to find a way of getting it back on Bray. At least the story makes sense. But I could also see them doing. If it's just Bray Wyatt, I could see Strowman beating Bray Wyatt and then The Fiend beating Braun Strowman at like the next pay-per-view or something. So
Yeah. You know, to me, I was watching last night and I didn't mention this. Bray Wyatt in the ring with Braun Strowman, they kind of look alike, other than obviously like the height and stuff. They've kind of got like the hair, the beard, just big brawly dudes, like backwoods kind of dudes. It looked like Braun Strowman was talking to his inner child. If you've ever done inner child therapy, because Bray was acting obviously like very childish and very fun, and Braun's like, it's time for you to move on. It's time for you to let go. Like, when you talk to your, this is kind of exposing me. When you talk to like your inner child, you do kind of like this thing where you tell your inner child the things that you couldn't let go of. It kind of felt like that. And Jay Jeezy with the super chat, so he gets
two
two
more
entries, right?
Yep.
Thank you, Jay Jeezy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll
Thank you,
give you your
JD.
2 extra. That really means a lot. Thank you so much.
So we should have a total of 3 in there now.
Yes. Um. So, anyways, but yeah, I feel like it is. This was like kind of a half-assed kind of oops, we gotta get something. I mean, like the storyline around it is pretty good because I mean he was part of the Wyatt family, but oh my god, that promo that Braun Strowman cut was so bad. He was like talking generically. He's like, "Yes, I was part of the Wyatt family, but he was really scared of me." It was like, and then Bray comes in there and steals the show, but you know, I feel like Bray retains, or not retains. Wait, is he champion? No, Braun's champion. Did
Braun
that thing
champion.
show?
Yeah.
Oh, it does. Okay, I thought it was flipped around. I was like, wait a minute. I don't know. I don't like Braun Strowman being champion. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't like it either. Like I said, it's just there was nothing else they could really do. Or at least they felt like there was no one else they could go with to beat Goldberg. And sorry, JGZ, I don't know if the graphic worked or not on the screen, or if it did for like just like it flashed for a second. But normally, like a GIF pops up on the screen. Thank you for the donation. I saw it for like half a second on my screen.
Yeah.
I don't know. So sorry, and we do very much appreciate the $5 very much. So I guess so. Are we both on the same page then? So like, if it's Bray, like Funhouse Bray, he'll lose. But if it's the Fiend wins.
Yeah, I think so. My husband thinks Braun's gonna win. He's over here like, because I asked him to get my chart. He's like, Braun's gonna win. Braun's gonna win.
Braun's
Braun's
gonna
gonna win.
Yeah,
It smells really good in here, by the way. He's cooking something in the crock pot.
Ooh, nice.
I know. I'm gonna ask him. What are you cooking in the crock pot? Ribs?
Ooh.
Smells like Italian.
Do you like ribs with do you like barbecue sauce in there? Or?
Do you do the ribs with barbecue sauce in there? No, not yet. No, not yet, he said.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Ooh, slow cooker, though. I think what he does is he puts it in the slow cooker and then he grills it.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Ooh, delicious.
Sounds good. Sounds good as
Does.
hell. I don't really like... Oh, I disappeared. I don't really like ribs because they're ribs, but I like the meat. Oh, hey. Anyways. But yeah, I don't know. This one's kind of up in the air for me. What if he joins the Wyatts? Joins the Funhouse again? Oh my god. Okay, so last night during the Firefly Funhouse thing, so Bray is like telling him to join them again. And the Funhouse people are all like Ramblin' Rabbit, who's my bae, is in there, and Abby the witch, and Husky Harris the pig, or whatever his name, Porky the pig.
Huskus.
Whatever. Huskus, yeah. And then Mercy the buzzer, they're like join us. But like they keep cutting to Braun Strowman, and he's like the same. It's like the same shot of him going like this. It was so lame. I was like, oh my god. So like, I don't know. It should be interesting. I really don't have a prediction for this, other than if the Fiend comes out, Fiend's gonna win because he's superhuman. I don't really see this going any other. Oh my god, my arms.
Floating head. Ooh,
That'd be spooky. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say Fiend. It's not
I hope there's some sort of confirmation of like if it's gonna be Bray Wyatt or the Fiend, like for sure before I make my Wrestle Rumble picks, because that's like what I
said
my entire prediction off of.
my husband just said it's gonna be Bray.
Okay, and that's what everyone in the chat seems to be saying too. So, and that's what Wikipedia is saying. I think usually it says the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, like if it's gonna be the Fiend. So I got to go with Braun in that case. That's gonna have to be my prediction.
Yep, me too.
All right, and lastly we have it's basically two matches in one. It's the men and women's Money in the Bank contract ladder matches. So we have the man's ladder or briefcase is hanging above the headquarters from like a helicopter or like a
Drone.
like a
It's Vanguard 1.
Vanguard. More realistically, I'm sure they have some sort of like scaffolding or something like over the ring that they're like it'll be hanging from, I guess. So you'll have the men. I keep saying man's. The men's briefcase.
The man.
Then the women's briefcase will be a little bit lower, and that'll be for the women's contract. So we'll have both of those going on. Don't know if they're doing. We've talked about this before. We don't know if they're doing like both hanging above the same ring, like they've been showing on WWE programming leading up to it, or if there's going to be two separate rings on the top of the building with two separate setups. I don't know. But I'm going to let you go ahead and kick us off with these predictions, Jesse. I guess starting with the men's match, we have, well, it's all one match, but the men's roster is Daniel Bryan, Rey Mysterio, Aleister Black, King Corbin, Otis, and AJ Styles, which is a pretty darn good lineup. Who do you think walks away with that briefcase?
Who do I want? I want Otis. To win. But I think it's gonna be between Otis and AJ Styles. I really want Otis to win. Here's the thing. I can see King Corbin winning it again, just because he had a failed cash in. What was that? 2 years ago.
That was a while ago.
And that's just. Yeah, and so I feel like that could happen. Aleister Black would be a really good one. I would not be mad with Aleister Black winning. I could see that. You know what? I don't think AJ Styles needs to win it. I would go with Otis or Aleister Black. Daniel Bryan, I don't think he needs it. Daniel Bryan, I like what he's doing with Drew Gulak. I really like that. I think the Intercontinental Championship should be the feud that he's going for right now. I feel like that's really fitting for him at this moment to try and get like Sami Zayn and Shinsuke over and all that stuff, and Cesaro, even though they don't really need to get over. But it just kind of does bring, Daniel Bryan brings a prestige back to the Intercontinental Championship feud, and I feel like that's good, and I feel like they should continue with that. Rey Mysterio, he doesn't need it. He's Rey Mysterio. I know there were a couple people in the chat last time that said they would love to see him have one more championship run before he retires. That's fair. I just don't think he needs to win Money in the Bank. I feel like it's something that Aleister Black or Otis could definitely use and definitely give an advantage to them. I want Otis to win, but my wild, hot, spicy, maybe freezing cold take is Aleister Black.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
It's tough.
Like I don't see Mysterio winning.
I'm not certain.
Yeah, I don't see Mysterio winning. I don't see Otis winning, although I love him. I don't see him winning. Daniel Bryan, for the same reasons, I don't see him winning, nor does he really need to win. Um, AJ Styles is an interesting one because like he could use it from the perspective of like he's all similar to Daniel Bryan, but Daniel Bryan has kind of more going on right now as far as like that whole feud with the people you're just talking about. AJ Styles, like there's no more OC. There's he's this thing with Undertaker's done. I don't think he has like a real direction at the moment, but he's always
Yeah.
perennial. He could always be the world champion at any point, and people will accept it because he's so good. Um, and him versus I almost called him Drew Galloway, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles could be really good if it was like a proper match for the title. Aleister Black I think is a really good choice, and King Corbin is an interesting one, but I feel like they've already done so much to like, it's like they do great with Corbin, then they totally ruin him, then they like try to rebuild him, then they kind of totally ruin him again, and I don't think he really needs the briefcase to be honest. So I might be with you with Aleister Black actually, kind of with this process of elimination. And he'd be an interesting one too, like just the
I love it.
yeah, just the idea of him like he could come at any moment and hit you with that spinning heel kick, and that's it.
Black Mass.
Black Mass, boom. And they seem to be pretty high on him. It could really help him a lot, I think. So I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with Aleister Black. That's kind of like a dark horse pick, I feel like, but I think it makes a lot of sense.
It does. It makes once you go through it and once you kind of deduct and use deductive reasoning and all that, it kind of does make sense. So I think it would be fun. And I feel like, do you think that here's my question. Do you think they filmed different endings?
That's a good question. I really don't know.
Because for me, I feel like they could have had, well, maybe King Corbin's going to win, but then they look at the ratings. And I do believe, I did see Sean Ross Sapp tweet that ratings were up. So that's good. However, ratings have been down, and I feel like King Corbin is like a ratings destroyer.
Right.
As much as I love and respect him as a person, not good for ratings. So I would think Aleister Black would be a fun one.
It'd be fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just really interesting because there's a lot of different ways they can go with it with Aleister Black. A lot of people in the chat mentioning AJ Styles. I mean, he's a pretty safe pick. Like it's just
Yeah. And it's what I was thinking. It is kind of interesting because even with him, even though he's a superstar and he doesn't really need the Money in the Bank per se, Gallows and Anderson just got let go from the company. He's by himself.
right.
Maybe he does need a revamping of his story, and Money in the Bank would be a way to do that. So for him, even it makes sense. This is just really a crapshoot,
Or I mean, what if it's a big swerve and like you mentioned it earlier, like the hacker like grabs the thing? That'd be kind of cool.
What? He hacks it away. It's been a hologram the whole time, and
That'd be cool.
or he has like a lock on the little thing.
I think the fans would probably revolt after that too. After like Brock came out of nowhere to win it last year and everything.
But like I said, if it is Ali,
yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like you said, that'd be crazy if it came full circle like that. But
that'd be beautiful.
I'm gonna go with Aleister Black at the end of the day. They could just do so much for him. Just that credibility of knowing he could become the champion at any time would do him a lot of good, I think.
Yeah.
And then we have the women's portion. We have Asuka versus Shayna Baszler versus Nia Jax versus Dana Brooke versus Lacey Evans versus Carmella. I mean, see, like with this one, I know we talked a little bit before about this. Where like, I feel like if they were gonna go with Shayna, they would have already because of all the build up for her. But then she lost in such like a anticlimactic way at WrestleMania where she kind of like pinned herself when she had Becky rear naked choke. So it's like I could totally see Shayna winning this, and then similar to Aleister Black, where it's like, you know, that she can take any of the women out at any time. So like all she really needs to do is have a referee around and choke somebody, and she could win the title. Um, so like I'm gonna go with Shayna. I'm gonna say they keep going with her, but I mean there's a lot of reasons to pick the other women in this match. Like there's an argument that can be made for pretty much all of them. Who are you thinking, Jesse?
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback off the whole statement of there's an argument for all of them, I can agree with that. You have Carmella who's won it before. That's kind of the case that she's making. You have Lacey Evans kind of becoming this baby face, triumphant, getting the upset over Sasha Banks to get into the match despite everything. Who could definitely use a push. However, I don't think she needs the Money in the Bank. You have Dana Brooke kind of coming out of the shadows, earning her way. That would be a big underdog upset. She looks great. She's improved vastly in the ring. Same can't be said for Nia Jax, but you could also have that huge heel heat case for that. She's already got a lot of online heat. She's got a lot of, not just online, I would assume, but also offline heat for allegedly, and from what it looks like from a fan perspective, being an unsafe worker. She's got that whole heel heat thing, so seeing her kind of just force her way through everyone, I could see that happening, just kind of like a King Corbin-esque kind of win, you know what I'm saying? Just that go-away heat. Shayna Baszler, like you said, your pick, definitely could use the win. She could just choke anyone out. Any one of these ladies out at any time and just become champion. I mean, does she even need, I guess she needs the briefcase for that to become champion, but she could just do that anyway. She did that at Elimination Chamber. I mean, hell. But then you see what happened to her at WrestleMania, and you could say she's got this vendetta. Totally makes sense. Then you have Asuka. Asuka clearly has the history of being a dominant force in NXT and in WWE. She's been champion before. I would personally love to see Asuka win. I do agree. I see in the chat a lot of people would love to see Asuka win. However, Greg Cherry Brand just said I would like to see Nia win because we never got a Nia versus Becky match, which is a very good point. It's a very good point. That's very spicy. That's a hot take. I like it. But I don't want to see Nia win just because, then she gets, a lot of online hate. And as much as I may not agree with the way that she works, I don't like seeing anyone get online hate. I just don't think it's fun. I don't want her to get that. I know that's, stupid, but I feel bad. But I want Asuka to win. I feel like, unfortunately for Kairi Sane, I don't know what's going on with her. I guess she's hurt again. But Asuka's just been a light in the SmackDown life for me. She's been super fun. She's a force. She's kind of being silly right now, but I would love to see her be taken super serious again. I think a win would be good. However, I agree with your pick as well with Shayna. I want Asuka to win, but I'm going to also go with Shayna. Or should I just be different? I'm going to go with Asuka just so I can be different from your pick, but I totally see why your pick makes a lot of sense. But I would love to see, Shayna choke out, Baron Corbin or Nia. Nia and Shayna come together and just knock out some dudes. That would be really cool.
Yeah, you were talking about that before, the possible overlap between the men's and women's match.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just go with Asuka just to be different from you. However, if you had not said Shayna, I would go with Shayna.
Yeah, and also it's worth, thinking about, I guess technically the briefcase can be any championship, similar to the Royal Rumble. So, if you get that briefcase, you can go after the NXT, the Raw, or the SmackDown titles. So I feel like our pick for Aleister Black, I think it would be interesting if let's say Strowman beats Bray on this pay-per-view, but then The Fiend beats Braun to win the title later on. If they could set up Aleister Black and The Fiend on SmackDown, that could be really good, possibly.
Ooh. Dude, all that darkness.
Yeah.
All that darkness. Oh my God. Yes. The goth in me is living for that. Yes.
It'd be interesting to see that. Like Aleister Black is like the
I want that now.
anti-Bray. Yeah.
Oh my god, anti-Bray, but also the same.
Right. Right.
Oh. Oh, now I want nothing less.
Nah, we have just
Everything's ruined now.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's our picks for Money in the Bank. If you want a free entry for the Money in the Bank Pick'em contest at Wrestle Rumble, now's another opportunity. Like I'm going to be picking a random person to give a free entry away to, and all you have to do is let us know in the chat. Jesse's keeping up with that, and she's going to give me all the names. I'll put up on the screen like the random name generator thing, and whoever's name pops up is going to get a free entry for the contest, and the contest is for $1,000 cash. I will give you 2 additional entries if you send a super chat of any amount, and we also will make sure to dive deep on your super chat if you have a question, comment, statement, anything like that, a prediction for Money in the Bank. But now's a good time. If you want a free entry, just go ahead and let me know in the chat. Just say, I want a chance at a free entry or something like that. We'll make sure to put you on the list. If you send a super chat, you'll get 2 more entries, and that's, like I said, any amount of super chat. What else is there? Is there anything else you want to talk about before I talk about
Corey.
stuff?
Yeah, Corey Williams wants in, so I'm gonna put him in. Do we want to talk about how great AEW was?
Sure. Yeah.
Well, first I do see in the chat Karrion Kross introducing Darkness and NXT. Why don't we just really quickly go over what we thought of the entrance for Karrion Kross? Since that was a big topic for the big topic for NXT.
Yeah, sure. What were your thoughts on it?
I was watching. We had NXT on the big screen because that's what my husband likes. Gala, put your entry in. And there was some championship matches, so we had that on the big screen TV or TV. I was watching AEW on my laptop, reacting to that. Well, hold on a second. And I'll tell you what, when Karrion Kross came out, I keep wanting to call him Killer Kross, so forgive me. You're already in, Greg, but forgive me for calling him Killer Kross if I do. I really thought that it was so cool. I'm kind of like half watching it. I was like, oh, this song, yeah, you know, whatever. I really like the song. It was pretty cool. I was like, wow, this really is like cementing Karrion Kross as like a force in NXT. However, watching it a few more times, it got more and more cringy. Like so cringe. Like I do not need to see Scarlett Bordeaux lip syncing this song, flailing around. Like I get the whole like she's a siren, like a sailor siren, and drawing you into him. But it's like, girl, you don't need to lip sync that, honey. You're off. Like, your lip syncing is not good. You're beautiful enough. Your presence, you are so gorgeous, girl. Your presence is enough to draw in the male demographic, sweetie. Like, you are beautiful. You are gorgeous. You got moves. But your lip syncing, honey, is off. And I didn't need it. Like, it just felt like it was me. Like, I do that every night, like, making my dinner. Like, everyone's gone to bed. I'm, like, running around my house, like, lip syncing and dancing. Like, that just reminds me of, like, the things I don't want people to see. So, that was cringe. However, other than that, it was pretty cool. But I don't think it was as great as everyone is saying.
Yeah, I feel like if she's gonna... If the lip syncing was, like, a one-time thing, I'm okay with it. But if she's going to do that every single time that Kross comes out, I think it's going to get old, like, really quickly. Especially if, like, the mouth isn't matching the words right. It's going to be strange to keep watching that. But I do like that the WWE has put so much effort into the entrance. Like, we talked about it a little bit before the stream, but, like, I think the fact that they put that much thought and preparation and effort and all the different lighting and the music fits in really well, and like, so maybe the entrance, like, if he did like the second half of that entrance every time, I'd be fine with it. Like if it was like it's dark and then you just see all those lights flashing and he's there like looking crazy, like coming down the ramp with Scarlett next to him. I'm all for that, but yeah. I mean, like I said, at least they have plans for the guy because he's clearly he's a star. Like this guy, I was a fan.
Dude, yeah.
I was a fan of his in Impact Wrestling. The stuff he's done with Bloodsport's been really cool. Like, because he has an actual, he's not like a really like a pro MMA fighter, but he's done the training. Like he was basically his career path, from my understanding, was he wanted to be an MMA fighter, and he did all the training to do professional MMA, and then just kind of like gravitated towards pro wrestling, and that's why you see a lot of his moveset in wrestling. It's akin to what you'd see kind of in an MMA fight, a lot of it. And I think he has the right look. I think his pairing with Scarlett, it works really well. It's visually, it looks good. They're both good workers.
They're both good looking.
Yeah, sure. So there's a lot they can do with them. And he's good in the ring. I'm gonna close my window real quick. There's somebody.
I was gonna say, damn.
There.
Did you eat beans for dinner, bro? Oh my god.
Okay, let me get this.
I'm just kidding. I didn't mind it, but it sounded like a fart.
Still might hear it a little bit, but hopefully that's a little bit better. And I've got the glare too. I'm gonna leave the glare.
Yes, it's beautiful.
But yeah, I mean, I thought, like I said, at least they're doing something with him. Yeah, I don't know what else was going on NXT. I can't remember if there's anything else to talk about. Or if we're talking about AEW, like Dynamite was great.
Dynamite was great. I know, for me personally, while NXT was good, it was incredibly disappointing. And like a kind of a hot take. Let me add unicorn into the entry. All right. Someone said it's Vanguard 1. That's funny. Anyways, I feel like that NXT, because they were building it as like another takeover, since obviously takeover didn't happen, which sucks because I was supposed to go. To me, it was so disappointing that I think that this could be like a turning point in a negative way for NXT, because there were so many the Charlotte finish was a DQ, and then Velveteen Dream lost, and it was like a ref bump, and then there was a pin, and Velveteen Dream should have won, and so the feud's going to continue, but it was very disappointing. I feel like this could shift the momentum towards AEW. Just because it's like, I'm not trying to say NXT's over or whatever. This is just kind of my stupid, dumb fan prediction. It's echoing, he said.
Yeah, I hit the button. We'll hopefully.
Okay. Anyways, but yeah, I feel like AEW is going to start to get more viewers now. I feel like this could have cost NXT some fans, which I hope it didn't. But it does kind of feel like that, just because it was so disappointing, and AEW was just so good. So good.
Yeah, the that last match for AEW, getting a lot of praise with the golf cart and all that stuff. Sammy Guevara just taking a bump like a champion, head first onto the golf cart, then right onto the concrete, and yeah, really good show. Kenny Omega did some crazy stuff, that moonsault off
that Zippers lift. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm glad he's doing that kind of stuff too, because
DDT.
Huh?
He's doing a lot of DDT.
Yeah. Well, that's true, but and on top of that, it's reminding everybody why Kenny Omega is special. For a while he was kind of getting lost in obviously he's always having good matches, and he's part of the tag team champions with Hangman and stuff, so he's already up there obviously, but for those of us who've watched him for a long time, whether it was through DDT or New Japan or even Ring of Honor years ago and stuff like that, we all know that he's capable of this stuff, but a lot of the casual AEW audience still might be kind of confused as to I keep hearing Kenny Omega is this amazing wrestler, but I haven't really fully seen it yet. And then you see stuff like that, and you're like, oh, okay, I get he can do that also. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, I feel like, obviously he had that death match with Jon Moxley,
Yeah.
which was good, but you're right. It's like all these people who haven't watched him in New Japan, haven't seen him in DDT, haven't really seen what he's capable of. If you haven't, I would highly recommend watching his feud with Okada at the Wrestle Kingdoms. Oh my God. Best matches ever. But yeah, I feel like finally he's kind of coming through the woodwork and just showing his true self. And it took a quarantine, but hey, I think that he's so versatile and just a great worker. And I feel like he kind of took the spotlight away from himself, so to speak, if that makes any sense, because he wanted other wrestlers to get the shine just because that whole EVP kind of stigma, authority stigma that they kind of had, they wanted to step away. I do believe he did recently in an article kind of explain his reasoning behind it. But whoa, oh my God, we got 2 super chats. Holy smokes. Let's get to those.
Yeah, go for it. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much. Thoughts on okay, this is Gel. Gel and Corey, you guys get 2 extra entries in the Wrestle Rumble thing, so I'll put that down once I'm done. So yay, we love this. Okay, thoughts on AEW getting fined for the Omega versus Mox match and why Chris Cruz is a piece of shit. Yeah, that was bizarre. So they got fined because he was blading and there was blading, clearly. And blading is not allowed in the state of Maryland. Yeah, that was so dumb. That guy like openly like his name should be Karen Cruz. Like, let's be real. That's like such a Karen move. Like, speak to the manager, like whatever. I mean,
Wait, what was the situation? I'm blanking on Chris Cruz. I feel like I know.
So Chris Cruz reported AEW to the Maryland Board Sports. I don't know what it's called. Don't quote me on that.
The Athletic State Commission or whatever.
Yeah, for blading, and so AEW at Full Gear. So blading is illegal, and so AEW was fined $10,000 for violating policy, which is so stupid.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. I don't really know what else to say about it, to be honest. Like, if they're not supposed to be blading, they definitely shouldn't. But I mean, the Mox versus Omega match I thought was really good. A lot of people thought it was like too far, but like,
Yeah. If you've ever seen a death match.
well, the thing is, like, I'm not a fan of deathmatch wrestling, really. But they didn't do. I mean, they did some kind of cringy stuff during that match, and by cringy, I mean like for me to watch it, I was kind of like, oh,
Yes.
hard to look at. But honestly, it wasn't. I'm kind of numb to a lot of it at this point. There's certain things that get me every time. Like anytime I see somebody take the thumbtacks to their bare feet, like that's because I've seen that a few times now, and like that one I can't even look at. There's like when like the pizza cutters on foreheads and stuff. Like there's certain things.
Oh, the staple gun.
The staple gun I'm not as cringe at because it's such like a small little barely kind of thing. But like, because here's the thing, and a lot of people might disagree because I know there's a lot of people that do view, even wrestlers I've interviewed that have told me like they view deathmatch wrestling as an art form, and I get it to a degree, but to be honest, like for me, like professional wrestling is about protecting yourself and protecting your opponent, and doing ways similar to Magic, where like you're not,
Yes.
there's like secrets to doing it so that everyone is safe and healthy in the match and all that stuff. And what deathmatch wrestling does is it takes that element out of wrestling where like you actually are cutting people in the head with pizza cutters, and like you actually are getting thumbtacks stuck into your feet. Like you are, there's no like magic or secret or like working safely about like.
That ain't an illusion, sweetie.
No, it's not an illusion. It's like you're actually doing that stuff. So to me, that's like the opposite of the art form. Where like,
That's like not art.
agree to
That's
that.
real.
Yeah. So
Well, I mean, if they paid me enough, I'd do it.
I don't know. There's certain things I want because like the other thing is the kind of the big thing on the indies with the death matches, at least
Lights.
the lights have been going on forever, and so have these things. But I've been seeing them more lately. Is the the wooden meat skewers. Have you seen those? Where they take those wooden skewers you would use to make like kebabs on the grill, and they'll take like a handful of them, like 10 or whatever in their hands, and they'll put them up to their opponents' foreheads and like pop
Like, oh my god,
into
like
their
a
heads.
fondue pot. Oh my god.
And
a
they'll
pot. Oh my god.
oh yeah, and they'll have like they'll be sticking out like this fucking unicorn mohawk out of their heads, and it's actually like there's no like that's actually what's happening. Like they're actually in their fucking foreheads, because when they pull them out, like you see the holes and they're bleeding, and like that's yeah. There was Matthew Justice, who's one of my favorite independent wrestlers, who does death matches but also does he does everything well. But Matthew Justice, I just saw him tweeting the other day actually about how he recently popped a wooden like a splinter or something out of his forehead that he said had been in his head since March from one of those things.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, that's yucky.
So yeah, there's that stuff, which that's too far. So like once I've like seen that enough times, seeing Moxley and
Yeah, that was
Omega is like
patty cake.
not too bad. Yeah. Yeah.
Just patty cake.
Yeah.
And then we had Corey. Corey had a super chat as well. Corey, thank you so much. You've always been so supportive every single time. I cannot tell you how much we appreciate that. Thank you so much. Seriously, awesome. Sammy Guevara is becoming my favorite wrestler between that bump and when he's saying Judas that one week. He cracks me up every time he is on screen. Yes, he has become the golden child of this whole situation. Like, really has become the MVP of this whole quarantine situation. He's become like what the crowd is meant to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he takes what excitement that we have from the crowd and gives it to us in a small condensed vlogger form. Like, he is so good, and he's like annoying in like the best way, like chicken shit heel. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Where you can tell he's being like mentored by Jericho too. Like the best
Yes.
person you could ever have giving you advice on being that kind of character is in the inner circle with him. So it's like he's just going to keep getting better and better. I know I've talked about it before on this show, but like I was aware of Sammy Guevara, but when I saw him live for the first time was like a few years ago in Nashville at an NWA show, and like there was a lot of really good talent on that show. Like Willie Mack, I believe, was on that show. Who's like one of our in-ring guys, and Cody versus Nick Aldis was on that show. This was NWA 70th anniversary, so like there was a lot of really good talent. And at the end of the show, and I wound up talking to Sammy like really briefly afterwards, and I got to meet a lot of the people that were on the show afterwards. And Sammy was like one of those guys where I walked away from that show like this guy is going to be a massive star when he catches on somewhere. Like he's so good in the ring, and this was before like the character work that he's got now. So like, I mean, the guy can do anything, and he's still super young, incredibly talented. So yeah, I agree. I think that Sammy Guevara, he's another one of those guys similar to Darby Allin that I think is going to be one of those. It's like that's kind of like off the top of my head, like AEW's future is like MJF, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, and Jungle Boy. There's like the four people that
Yes.
I'm like, these are, and they're like quote unquote kind of like homegrown AEW stars that really didn't get exposure elsewhere and stuff.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, they're young enough, they're impressionable enough, they have enough room for growth. They haven't really been limited to their certain style, so to speak. Like they don't have like a preconceived notion from the audience like a Joey Janela would have. You know, I love Joey Janela, but everyone thinks of him in crazy shit, you know?
yeah,
So him being in like a regular wrestling match is always like, people are always like, oh, can he do it? Which he can.
he had a
But
good match
there
with
is-
Cody last week. Really good match with Cody.
Did. Oh my God, it was great. Phenomenal. He's a great wrestler, but people do have that preconceived notion of him that he's Mr. Street Fight, deathmatch, crazy shit kind of guy. But, you know, like you said, Darby Allin, you know, Sammy Guevara, and Jungle Boy. I mean, Jungle Boy had like a little on the indies and stuff, but I feel like, in AEW, it's kind of different, and not a lot of people saw him.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, obviously you and I would have seen him, but like people who are just starting to tune into AEW, which they are actually getting a wider casual audience than WWE. And I can speak personally from my own experience. The best man at our wedding, he doesn't like ever watch wrestling, but we were talking one day. He came over and he was like, "Yeah, anytime AEW is on, I'll watch that. That's really good stuff." He's like, "I won't watch WWE. It's too like cringy and stuff." And I was like thrown like completely off the loop. I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, I love that AEW. It's actually really cool." So they do have this casual audience who's freshly into it that don't really have the time nor the desire to kind of look into the backstory of these people and where they've gone because they don't care. And, you know, yeah. So I do. And then yes, I just saw Gel's super chat.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gel, so much. Yes, I was about to explain that when we were talking. What were we talking about? Oh my goodness. Let me go back up. Oh yeah, the blading and stuff, how wrestling's okay, so and we were talking about how it's an art form, right? And it's a very specific choreographed art. So as Gel mentions, thank you so much. He said, "Wait, I just saw on Jesse's Twitter someone said wrestling isn't real. I've been duped." So last night someone said fake. And I said, "What?" And they said wrestling is fake. And I went with it and I was like, "Are you serious?" It's like, "What do you mean?" And they sent me this video that I think they made themselves. It's a very well done video of they slow down like wrestling matches and circle like John Cena getting like this and not taking a punch and like moving and like Dean Ambrose taking like doing a kick and John Cena like, moving and he like circled it. And I was like, "Oh my God, my heart is broken." And he's like, "It's okay. My heart was broken too when I found out."
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, "You know what? I still love it though." And I didn't think, because I was just kind of baiting them. I was like, "Wait a minute, what?
Sure.
Serious?"
And this guy was like trying to help. He was like, he felt like he was helping.
This guy was trying to expose
That's-
WWE.
I have a pretty funny story. I won't say the guy's name. Nice guy, by the way. I won't put him on blast. But like, so there's a guy that it's like I know through other people kind of thing. I don't really know him that well personally, but basically, to make a long story short, this guy is like a lifelong pro wrestling fan, right? Like he's like my age. He's like 30 or whatever. All right, lifelong fan. Always see him like on social media and stuff. Like he's one of those guys who like types in all caps all the time, like no matter what it is.
Yes, I love those people.
But it
Passionate.
isn't like that. It's more of like ooh, this is cringe type stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff like basically it'll be things where like clearly to him wrestling is very real. Like he'll I've seen it because I'm friends with this guy on Facebook as well because we have a lot of mutual friends. He like when Sting lost to Triple H, it was like this all caps thing on Facebook about like Sting losing and but it was like in a way in which I think that in his mind Sting had actually lost to Triple H. And this guy is a baseball umpire or
Wow, really?
part-time thing, right? So he's like umpires and he got into refereeing for professional wrestling after he had been doing umpiring for a while.
Oh no.
That's how he found out it was choreographed because they started telling him during his referee training about how to convey like how much longer the match is and like what moves to do and like wrap it up like the finish and all this stuff. So like he found out while
Oh
doing
no.
wrestling training and he's probably just looking around the room like, wait a second. And I'm talking like at the time.
That's so embarrassing.
This guy was like in his mid-20s when this happened because this was a few years ago. So like,
Oh.
and it's like, oh man, like how did you possibly go this long without realizing But then he found out while he was in it, that's what's the fun.
Right.
Because when he signed up, he had to have been like, all right, I can't wait to get in there and like enforce the rules. Like, if somebody grabs
Right.
there, I'm gonna make sure, like no chairs and like when they're
Oh.
one, two, three, four, get in the corner. Like he's probably
His intentions were so pure.
yeah, he wanted to referee like this fight, and then like found out during it, like, and then I think I think he's still a wrestling fan.
You okay?
Like, I think he never actually refereed any matches or anything after he found out.
Okay.
He's okay. He's still alive and stuff, But I think I think that it probably fucked with his head a bit when he realized
Oh.
as he was doing it what was going on. Yeah.
That's so sad.
And by the way, I also need to preface this by saying, or I should have prefaced this earlier. This is also like a totally normal dude. Like I'm not making fun of somebody who's like
Yeah.
fun of anybody, to be honest. It's just a story, but like this isn't like he has
He's not a little kid. He's
Like,
not a
I'm
little
not-
kid.
yeah,
He's a grown
like,
ass man.
and he's like a totally normal fucking guy who like graduated high school and college and like the whole. So it's like this isn't like I'm making fun of somebody who has some sort of like
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
I promise you, I would never do that. But it was just so funny because he's such a huge fan, and then he found out as he was doing the refereeing that it wasn't real. It's like, oh my god.
Corey Williams said, "This is the wrestling version of Elf."
And Corey says, "We're not normal. What are you talking about?" Very true. None of us are normal. I'll
No.
also for sure agree with.
No.
I am not a normal human being with the amount of professional wrestling I watch, for sure. So, I was just lucky enough to where, like, pretty much the first time I ever watched wrestling when I was, like, 6, like, I could clearly tell. And also, I was familiar with, like, boxing and stuff, so I knew what it looked like when people really hit each other. So, like, I've always known. But that was never the issue. It was always I like the story. I like the performance. Like I like the characters. Like
Yes.
it's like a TV show to me. It's more than just that. But you know what I mean. That's how I view it. I don't feel like I'm being.
It's an art.
Or they're trying to deceive me. They call it World Wrestling Entertainment. They're not
It's
trying
sports
to even
entertainment.
seem. Yeah, they're not even trying to fool you at this point. It's straight entertainment.
Right?
But
Yeah. Here's my view on that, though. So there's someone that we know that my husband knows that we started talking wrestling with, and he started like, when you talk to someone, you're like, oh, they think this is real. Just go with it. Just go with it. PSA: if someone thinks it's real, do not ruin that for them. Like, just like, God, what was it? Oh man, it was like, when KO and Jericho, he was like, I cannot believe Kevin Owens did that to Jericho. He was like so upset.
who is
And
this?
like, it's someone that my husband knows.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
He's so sweet. He's like literally the sweetest guy. He literally just got like internet. He had been paying full price for these damn pay-per-views too, like on TV.
Well, like instead of the network, he was like
Yeah.
like 50 still. Ooh.
Yeah. Like I offered to pay. I was gonna send him to WrestleMania. I was gonna get him a WrestleMania ticket, and I was gonna pay for his network, but he said no. So, just cause. But I just thought, like, just don't ruin it. Just keep kayfabe. Like, keep kayfabe. Do not ruin it for these people. Do not crush their dreams. It's like, don't. If little kids want to believe in Santa, let them. Don't be a jerk.
Sure. And maybe, you need to get those kind of people, like, introduce them to, like, Jim Cornette, because he'll make sure that you continue to believe that it is not true at all. Take it way too seriously. I love Jim Cornette, by the way. Like, I know he gets a lot of...
Yeah, it's a gimmick.
Yeah, and I trust me, I get where the hate comes from with him. I totally understand, but he's entertaining to listen to, at least in my opinion. And yeah, it's funny hearing him on like the dark side of the ring where he's talking about Vince Russo and like and like he's like this mother, like I'm paraphrasing and stuff, but he's like basically like this motherfucker, like I want to fight this guy, blah blah blah, and it's like Keith's over here talking. Vince Russo says something like, how you gonna get so mad, bro? Like, it's just wrestling. And Cornette's like, it's just wrestling. This is all I fucking care about. It's wrestling.
Yeah, I know.
Vince Russo also. I mean, like, I like these guys. They're all misunderstood in some way, shape, or form. Like, even Vince Russo had a lot of really bad ideas. Also had a lot of really good ideas. Like, let's be honest. Like, a lot of bad.
Yeah.
There was also a lot of good ones. So, like,
I think the problem with like Jim Cornette is that he kind of has this like, I get that it's a gimmick, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like his thing, but like when he crosses that barrier into like real life and real people on social media and like roasting actual real people, then that's when I see the problem. Like, you need to not, there's boundaries, bro. Like, respect those boundaries, like, whatever. But I totally get what you're saying. Like, I totally get it. Like, they're part of wrestling history,
It's funny because it's funny the way he looks at wrestling too, because like I remember him talking. This is like years, like probably a year or so ago, when he first saw Darby Allin, and at first he was a big Darby Allin fan. He was like, "Oh, this guy's presenting something different. Like, this is pretty cool." And then he like realized that Darby Allin is like that in real life also. Like, he skateboards around and like does like jackass type stunts with his friends and all this kind of stuff. And he immediately turned on him. He went from like, this guy's cool to like, oh, this isn't even a gimmick. This is actually how this guy is. And so like he like turned on him. It's like, I don't know, it's just funny.
It is funny.
What are y'all in the chat just curious? What do y'all think about New Jack? Just curious.
Oh man, I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen that Dark Side. I need to watch that. Like, well, Greg being a jerk over here. I don't believe
that's pretty funny.
I don't believe it, bro. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Don't worry. No, you know what? Honestly, 100%. No Browns insult can hurt me. None. The Browns are insulting enough. Like, I don't think people understand the shit that I go through as a fucking Browns fan. Like, you really think your words are gonna hurt me? Like, please, get out of here. I have to watch them. I have to support them. Like, they find the most creative ways to win yet still lose, aka Myles Garrett. Jeez. Like, yeah, and yeah, I know you're just giving me a hard time about the Browns. It's fun. I like shit talking with sports. I will shit talk sports. I will, but not in real life. I'm a fan of his work. Criminal piece of shit. Who? Oh, New Jack. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen the whole Dark Side of the Ring, but I've heard there's tea.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I knew like, probably 95% of what they said on that show, but, like, that's what's great about the Dark Side, though, is, like, I go into those knowing a lot about most of these stories, but they always do find something or other that they've done, like, some sort of deep dive into where it's, like, new information that I didn't know, which is pretty amazing they can do that, especially with some of these stories being so old and stuff, but, the New Jack thing is strange to me because of how polarizing it is. Because, like, there's a lot of people that are really, really, really big fans of his, and then there's all people that think he's a criminal POS, like what they were saying in the chat. It's weird because, like, my brother's like a very casual wrestling fan just by way of being around me as often as he is. And, like, he had never seen or heard of New Jack, and he watched that documentary with me the night that it came out, and this was weeks ago. And he told me the other day, he's like, man, I'm still thinking about that New Jack show. He's like,
wow.
He's like, it really bothers me. Like, how is this guy not in jail forever? Like, how is this guy getting away with the stuff he's gotten away with? Like, how are the other wrestlers? Like, how can any wrestler possibly praise him? Like, because a lot of wrestlers say good things about him during the show. Stuff like that, so, yeah, it's interesting. I would definitely recommend watching it because this is the two sides of it, right? There's the one side where it's like, he clearly was doing shit he should not have been doing in the ring. Like, a fucking basically a knife in his pocket to one of
Jesus.
stabbing his opponent in the head. He used the taser on I think it was Vic Grimes before he threw him off of the rafters. Like, and he admitted he was trying to kill him with the throw. Like, he tried to
Oh.
throw him in the wrong spot, and his opponent didn't know he had a taser on him. So like, he's actually like criminally
Crazy.
fucking like. And then there's the mass transit incident, which people are bringing up in the chat too, which is not fully his fault because ECW like allowed basically an untrained minor to wrestle New Jack with like hardly
Oh, I need
any
to watch
experience.
this.
Yeah, and then
This
New
sounds
Jack
great.
almost killed him. You know, it's like there's all this stuff, but and I'm more on that side, to be honest. Like, if I was a wrestler, I would have never wanted to get in the ring with the guy based on his track record and all that. But the side of it that they don't really capture on that show, because they clearly didn't have the rights to the music, which is understandable, is when New Jack came out in ECW and NWA was blasting on the speakers, and like he'd come out and like the music would play while he was in the ring. So like he'd be coming out and everyone would be going crazy for this, NWA music, and he'd come out with like the guitar with like gunpowder inside of it and like the staple gun and like all his weapons and shit. And he'd come out and like the music would still be playing as he's like hitting people in the head, and the crowd would lose their shit. Like, he was incredibly over with the crowd. And when he would climb to the top of the building and jump off the rafters through tables and stuff, he was incredibly over. So like that's the side of it they don't fully capture, I feel like, on the show, because that's the only justification you can give any of it, is like the wrestlers that don't talk shit about him, because most of them probably should based on like what he did to people in the ring. I think the other side of respect where they're like, but y'all don't understand, like back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, when he was coming out and doing this stuff, the crowds were losing their shit. Like, people were buying tickets to see what New Jack was going to do. Stuff like
Yeah, if you want to read Corey Williams' super chat, thank you so much.
It says, in the beginning when he was going against the racist crowds, I was like, go you, yes. Then he went, like, it was too far. Yeah, I agree. So, like, New Jack initially started getting a notoriety in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, which Jim Cornette owned. So, like, so that gimmick was actually brilliant. He was basically going in front of racist white crowds and, like, provoking them to, like, call him the N-word, basically. Like,
Oh my god, I hate that word so much.
But that's like, his job was to go out there and rile up these racist white crowds with the stuff he would
Oh
do.
my god, that sounds so dangerous.
But it was great pro wrestling. Like,
Oh my god.
for because we're talking like Tennessee, like the like 80s and 90s kind of era where like or like
Yeah.
in the areas where like racism still very much exists, and he would go in there because it does take balls to do that, because you go in
Oh my god.
stuff
I'm
like
nervous thinking about it. Oh my god.
yeah. So that kind of stuff I gotta give him respect for, because like he went out there and like did his job, like, to get the crowd riled up. But then it was like all that other stuff is what I had a problem with, is like all the hurting your opponents on purpose. And because basically this will ruin a little bit of it, but like people who've already seen it obviously know he did some shit where like he basically attacked another wrestler essentially with a knife and was like stabbing him in the head, and then that wrestler and then he went to jail for it, and he was
You stabbed him in the head?
yeah, like five or seven times or something like that.
Oh!
And then New Jack winds up like getting arrested for it, and he was gonna serve like a long ass time in jail, like 20, 30 years or some shit over it. And he basically told the wrestler that he had done this to, like the reason he was getting these charges pressed against him, he basically told that wrestler, hey, if you drop these charges, I'll make sure that you get some sort of at least tryout with the WWE. Because he had done that for wrestlers in the past. Even though he didn't work for the WWE, he had a lot of contacts, and he would magically, like, as favors for people, like something would happen, and he'd be like, the next thing you know, like, he wouldn't be in trouble anymore, and then that person would get like a tryout match, or he'd be like a jobber or enhancement talent or something on WWE TV, like, not long after. Jack was basically getting out of his legal troubles by promising opportunities to other wrestlers. And I believe what he did the last time was he was going to serve all this time in jail. He promised this guy. The guy dropped the case against him, and then he fucking ghosted. Like, New Jack just, like, didn't help this guy out at all, but got out of jail. Like, otherwise he'd be in jail all over it, most likely.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a deep dive. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That sounds like a movie. That doesn't even sound like real life.
Yeah, oh yeah. This guy's whole life. They show, they like reenact stuff, and like New Jack admits like he was high on coke during like all of this also. Like he just
Say no to drugs.
He'd just be in the back just snorting lines and then go out to the ring and like literally tase people and like throw them off shit and like jump off the ceiling of the building onto people and stuff and like just coked out of his mind. Like,
oh my god.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh. I need to watch that.
Yeah,
I've been really into these so I've been down this like deep YouTube hole lately. So it started out with Disney vloggers, right? My husband watches these Tim Trackers, Disney vlogger guy. And then there's this guy, Adam Wu, and he goes to like these abandoned places. And then through that, I found these abandoned house videos, like urban exploration. And somehow through that, I found 911 calls, like top 10 creepy 911 calls with backstories and text. And I've been like watching all those, and that sounds like right up my alley.
Oh yeah, you'd enjoy it. It's like an hour long of.
I love morbid stuff. I am totally into morbid stuff. Like that's my jam. So
You probably like the newest Dark Side episode, which is Herb Abrams, who used to own WF. And if you want to talk about cocaine, that's another guy. Like, that's a wild story of a cokehead who ran a wrestling company.
That's bad drug, man.
Yeah, I would advise staying away from it. But, y'all do you. Do whatever you want.
I mean, you do you. I don't condone drug use. But
Nah, BTE is drug free.
Oh
I've drank so much White Claw on this show that like I can't even pretend to be drug free. Like,
you've been drinking White Claw? I didn't even notice.
Well, no, not today. Like,
oh,
I'm just drinking seltzers and coffee.
I was like, bro, you've been sneaking that in your coffee cup? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't coffee.
Yeah.
No, y'all know when I'm drinking White Claw. It's like the tall can.
Yes. My husband's been drinking, they got it's vodka soda.
Nice.
I don't know what it's called. I can't remember. High Noon?
High noon.
I don't drink because I get stupid and make dumb choices when I drink, so I just decide not to drink because I get like an idiot. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I just get dumb. I'm like, I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead. before I don't need a mugshot or anything. So.
Yeah, fuck that. We need the show to keep going.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably a pretty good stopping point for the most part. If anybody has any extra super chats you want to throw out there at the very end, I'd be happy, me and Jessi, to answer your question.
Yeah, I DM'd you the list. I DM'd you the list with all the extra entries from the super chats as well.
Thank you. I am opening that right now, and what was the website we used last time?
Oh shit! What was that?
It's probably still in my Skype messages from you from.
Yeah, it should be.
There it is, random picker. This one actually worked better than the other one I had used, so we're gonna use this one again. And then I saw that second message that had some more for Gel.
This was a great chat, very engaging. I'm super happy. Like that. Thank you so much for all those super chats, everyone. Like, I cannot tell you how much we appreciate that. And not just the super chats, but everyone in the chat. The Corys, the Gels, the JGZs, the Unicorns, the everybody. Like, we appreciate you guys so much. It does make it so much more fun for us. So I can't tell you how much we appreciate it. It really does make me happy. It does bring me joy. So I just wanted to say that really quick.
Yeah, and I echo those sentiments 100%. Very, very much appreciated. And Gel, I've seen every episode of Dark Side, first season all the way through. So I have seen the Dino Bravo episode. I'm really looking forward to the next 2 weeks. This upcoming week we've got the Road Warriors, and then the following week the big one, Owen Hart, where Martha's
Yeah.
talking and stuff, and that is gonna be interesting because that's like what 30. It was not May 23rd, 1999. So 99 to 09 to 19. So 20 years.
Wow.
Is that 9 to 09?
Well, it's 2020.
Yeah.
You missed a year.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I guess 21 years. But uh, but yeah, that one's gonna be wild because she really doesn't talk publicly about.
No.
She still has it out for the WWE and Vince, and they're gonna be talking specifically about the stunt that pulled and everything. So like,
Mm.
yeah, very. I'm very interested in that. Before I do the drawing for the entry for Wrestle Rumble, I'm gonna go over our sponsors just real quick. Obviously, starting with Wrestle Rumble, I'll be talking about them more with. I'll talk about them before I do the entry. We have my brother Brian Jensen. He is.
Yeah.
I'm wearing his merchandise right now. Steel Boxing and Athletics. He is a part-time owner. A part-time owner doesn't make any sense. He is a owner of the gym, and he can help you. Even over quarantine, and whether you're in the Atlanta, Georgia area, he can help you in person. If you're anywhere else in the world, he can help you online. This is a different video. This is him in person. He's got the Parkinson's class back now.
Yay! Oh, yay! I'm so happy. I haven't been on Instagram, so.
Nice. Yeah, he appreciates that. Anyone who wants to give him a follow, please do.
I'm gonna go like that post right now.
His handle is Boxing ATL. That's BOXING ATL. If you don't want to be inside, like he'll help you outside. People helping him outside. We're in a Fight Talk T-shirt. You can get those at whatamaneuver.net. That's my shirt. If you want to drop a little bit of love there, and then he can help you online. Like this is him doing classes with people through webcams and stuff. So get a knockout workout without getting knocked out. Hit up Brian Jensen right now. And then we've also got Heroes and Legends, which is a professional wrestling, basically a memorabilia and a collectibles company. They have action figures, DVDs, autographs, old programs, magazines, anything you can think of. And they do live auctions on their Facebook page often. So make sure to follow them on all social media at HL Pro Wrestling. That's HL Pro Wrestling on all social media. And here's a great people to give you a good deal and fair prices and all that good stuff. So definitely check their stuff out. And then we have Wrestle Rumble. And I've obviously been talking about that quite a bit. The Money in the Bank Pick'em contest is $10 for one entry, $3 for 20, or 5 entries for 30. The top prize is $1,000 cash. There's also the Classic Tag Team Championship raffle for $10, and you can see that right there. The drawing for that's going to be tomorrow. And for for Wrestle Rumble, make sure to follow them on Twitter at Wrestle Rumble to stay up to date with all their contests. Speaking of contests, let's winner.
Did you get the extra gal entries in there?
I did. Got them there.
Okay.
So this is everybody's name who either asked for a free entry and or sent a super chat, and the super chats got you 2 additional entries. So some people have 2, some people have 1, some people have 3, depending on the super chats and all that stuff. So they're all right there, and I'm going to hit this pick a random item, and whoever's name pops up is who is going
Ooh, I'm nervous.
the free entry. So here we go.
I wish everyone could win.
The winner is Corey Williams.
Woo!
Congratulations, Corey. You get a free entry for the Money in the Bank Pick'em contest. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter or if you're on Twitter, but just mention me just in a tweet, and I will direct message you to get the information that I need to get that sent out to you. So that goes for you, Corey, and anyone else who has won an entry. You should all be getting an email directly from Wrestle Rumble sometime tomorrow before the show. It's usually in the morning or afternoon time, but plenty of time before the show to get those entries in. But just keep your eyes out for them, and I will let my boy Matt, who runs Wrestle Rumble, I will let him know about your free entry, and he'll make sure to get those out to you guys tomorrow. So that's everything I have, Jessi. What do you have going on?
Basically, follow me on Twitter. My handle is right down below, at Jessi the Buckeye, JESSITHEBUCKEYE. And yeah, that's my Twitter. I also do have an OnlyFans, the best way to come in contact with me. I don't answer Twitter DMs usually. Very rarely do I go in there. Literally the first time in a while I've gone in there was to send Steven the entries. So if you do want to talk with me, we can talk about wrestling or whatever. If you want to make some other purchases from my OnlyFans, you're more than welcome to. You can go into my DMs. I will be answering my DMs after this. I'm having so much anxiety because I haven't answered them yet, and I have like 31, and I'm like, because I do always try my best to get to everyone as soon as I can. Lots of really fun content. Did some extra stuff last night during SmackDown, which is why I wasn't as active yesterday on SmackDown. So it's cool stuff over there. It's onlyfans.com/Jessi the Buckeye, JESSITHEBUCKEYE. Would really, really appreciate the support over there. Obviously, no pressure. I also do have a Papa John's Pizza discount code. It's JESSI25, and that's 25% off your full price online order. You can use it up to 100 times until the end of the year. So use it for all your soda pops and pizza pies. A click of the mouse and Papa's in the house. Honey, yes. Papa bless. That's all my sponsorships. Yes, and then Scarlett is over at her Mimi and Papa's right now, which is why there was no run-in. So that's why she's having fun with my mom, kind of like a little Mother's Day thing for her. So, and then they're going to come over and we're going to have a big barbecue tomorrow. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so, yeah, it should be fun. Tomorrow should be fun, too. So that's all my plugs. Don't know about you. Other than
You can follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at FightTalk_, FIGHTTALK_. I always have a hard time saying or spelling the word talk when I do that. FIGHTTALK_.
Oh yeah.
And I'll be doing the Fightful Select Weekender podcast tomorrow, talking about indie wrestling and being the elite and whatever else is going on outside the WWE and AEW. So if you want to check that out, that's available at FightfulSelect.com as a part of the premium Patreon service for Fightful. So I'll be doing that tomorrow. And I'll be watching Money in the Bank tomorrow. I'll be watching, as long as the show still happens, I'll be watching UFC 249 tonight. I plan on getting some mango habanero wings and some lemon pepper. Watching the fights tonight.
Ooh.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Probably drinking a few White Claws. So
Yeah.
that's my weekend, and I'll give this a plug too. As long as the UFC happens, I'm supposed to be a guest on a podcast for the Sobros Network on Monday afternoon. I don't know when the episode's going to drop, but we're going to be talking. I'll be talking to my friend John Mosley, who works for the Sobros Network out of Nashville, Tennessee, and we're going to be talking about the fallout from UFC 249. I also recently recorded a podcast with my friend Adam Abramowitz, who does a show called Inside the Mind's Eye, where he basically interviews people about like dream jobs or people who have jobs that they were like striving to get and stuff like that. So we talk a lot about like MMA on Point, this podcast, my other podcasts, stuff like that. And that's going to drop either tomorrow or the following Sunday. So shout out to Adam Abramowitz and his podcast. Definitely check that out as well. But yeah, that's everything I've got.
Me too. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Stay healthy, stay happy, and be well. Yeah.
Stay safe, stay happy, be well. Enjoy Money in the Bank. See you next.